G'day everyone, this is Callaway. I'm back with another video, and today we're doing the review of Aquaman Deep Dives, Stringing Tide Part 3 of 3. It's the final of a three-part series of the digital first books. This whole storyline's been about a villain named Scorpio who's been trying to turn Atlantis population and people against Aquaman to try and make them doubt him and lose faith in him, so then he can just take over, I guess. You know, kind of the typical villain, so we'll get into it. This is Scorpio, and he used a big robot. Kind of imagine like there's a Megazord size from Power Rangers, or like the big God King from your boy Zach's videos and stuff. So he's used a big metal machine called Torpedo Man to try and take out Atlantis and all that sort of stuff. But that failed when Aquaman and the Sea Devils defeated that, and now they're trying to get the data back to stop the plan from going ahead, and then trying to figure out who is in charge of this new criminal organization that's trying to take over, and it's Scorpio, but they don't know that yet. So in here we got, remember in the last issue Aquaman broke his arm, so we get this is pretty cool. It's a nanocast, adapted metal made to patch holes in our deep dive suits. It'll harden up and hold your arm in place just fine. So that's pretty cool, and it's rather than using that the anchor that he found in the last issue. And they go in and they try and tackle the men that are working for Scorpio. But and Aquaman brings in Tula, and her character in this issue was just, God, she was annoying. She was just the snarky snarky punk attitude that's just thinks she's greater. Like, she comes straight in and she takes over. She's like, "Come in, move. I've tracked bail jumpers with just my gut and a few drops of sweat." You know what I mean? So it's like she's just a snarky little character. She was just a bit of a bitch in the book, but anyway, keep going. And Aquaman here, he's fighting Atlanteans. Well, he thinks he does. He thinks he is. He thinks he's fighting Atlanteans that are rebelling against him and stuff, but it turns out they're agents for this Scorpio disguised as Atlanteans. They're spies, so they've been embedded by Scorpio into Atlantis to try and destroy Atlantis civilization and law, and bring them down from the inside out. So they've been implanted in there to spew propaganda and lies and all that to the Atlantis people about Aquaman. So they lose respect and lose faith in Aquaman, because they want to start a war. They want to start a war with Atlantis to take down Aquaman. And what better way to do that than insert spies into the population to try and bring it down from the inside out. So we get that, and then Aquaman realizes eventually who they are, and he beats them. And then we get to this prison. It's an Atlantis prison, aquarium of prison, and Tula and the three Sea Devils have gone in to try and find out who this Scorpio is and take down their men. But when they get there, they think this is empty. The signal is just coming from there, so they go there, but they think it's abandoned. And then they get there, and the Scorpio's got his army and everything there ready, waiting for them. So they get a bit of a shock. And this is Scorpio, and they all do like a parting thing around him, and then they try and take down Scorpio themselves, and it fails. So then basically they can't take him down himself, but it's Kordax, one of Arthur's ancestors. Arthur's disgraced ancestor, abandoned, raised feral, and kept alive by sick magic. He's more beast than Baron. So he's got a grudge against Arthur, because he was he's one of Arthur's ancestors, and he was abandoned and disowned by family and all that. So he sort of, that's where his hate for Arthur and that comes from. And come on, Comixology. So this is where Arthur, he's figured out the spies in Atlantis, and this is where he's talking about to his Atlantis people, don't lose faith in him. He's going to do justice and do right by the Atlantis people. And so here, Scorpio has he's basically beaten the Sea Devils and Tula and all that. So then Aquaman's got to come to the rescue. And this is Mera and Garth. They're fighting more Atlanteans and spies. So it's a pretty simple story, This review's probably not the best. So then Aquaman comes in, and then he finds out it's Kordax. So he takes over and he's starting to fight Kordax. And basically they get in a big fight. They scrabble over, who's entitled to who's this, who's that. And they realise and they're talking about it, and they're like, they're basically the same people. Arthur's been ostracised, Kordax has been ostracised, and Arthur says if you stop to think about it, we've actually got more in common than we don't. So that was interesting. And they keep getting into that, they're fighting, and Aquaman, where is he? He says if you basically, because Kordax blinded by rage, he's like, he says, not old. Oh, sorry guys. He said, it's more than it seems. What have you done? And he says, where in the seven seas are we? Because Aquaman's taken someone. He says, not in them, old man. This is the celestial isthmus. A psychokinetic sea that connects our material oceans to the higher dimensional waters above. It is a realm of pure thought, the medium by which the core connects us to sea life. So basically Arthur's outsmarted him because he's used his thinking skills, whereas Kordax, he's basically just blinded by rage, and his whole motive was anger. His whole motive is anger against Aquaman because he believes the family's wronged him. He believes Aquaman is was treated like the golden one, and that's where Aquaman has outsmarted him. So Kordax his whole thing was built on vengeance and hate and anger and rage towards Arthur, and he didn't see what Arthur was doing. He didn't see that Arthur was basically outsmarting. So then we get more of crappy dialogue between Tula and just being real snarky. And sort of upper self, like I can do better, I can do this, I can do better than you guys. And eventually, spoiler, they figure it out and they end up realizing that they can be friends. And Aquaman uses his call and gets this big dragon thing. Well, they're fighting to come up and defeat Kordax, and that's basically where it all ends. And then Aquaman does a big speech about being king and doing right by his people. The work's not done. The trust of Atlanteans people has been shaken, but not lost. The way back to it is truth. I'll give it to them. The people will know they can question me. I want faith, not fealty. I don't have all the answers, but no matter what, as long as I am king, I will always put them first. They will know that above all, I am just a man, and no man truly stands alone. But with the strength of his bonds through partnerships and honour, be he man or king, he can hold an ocean and all the life on his shoulders. So that's how it ends. So it was a good wrap up to the story. It's both just a man blinded by rage and anger, hatred towards someone led him to want to take over a nation. So he's plotted things from behind the scenes and to he set up that original setup for the king of the Lurker Kingdom, King Noble, to get trapped down into the trench, and then they wanted to get him killed. So then that would start like a political war between the kingdoms, and then start a war within Atlantis and get them to basically lose faith in Arthur and Aquaman to try and get him off the throne and turn his people against him. And it failed at the end because he was blinded by hatred and he was outsmarted by Aquaman. So, sorry guys that this review wasn't the best. This last issue was a bit, not as good as the other one. So, but it ended well. It was good. So, the art was okay. There's a few things wrong with the art. Where is it? Like here we got a full page and we get this tiny little stick figure here. I didn't write like that. So, but all in all, good story. It is what it is for $1.50, and this one was 25 pages actually. So for $1.50 online in Australia, that was pretty good. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Comments with Callaway. Like, subscribe to the channel, much appreciated. Thanks for the support, and see you next time.